launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Oh, a hearty good morning on this Thursday to you folks out there. We love you for watching and listening and want to say hello to our audience on WATB Facebook page. Big time audience there that we have just partnered with. So very happy to be on board with all you folks. Great local fans, local Tampa Bay sports fans. And I'm glad you found the show because that's what we do each and every day here. 2 hours live from 10 to 12 every day, talking all Tampa Bay sports with my friend Nick Geddes here. I'm JP Peterson. So we really appreciate you guys jumping in here today and joining us. And we got a great show for you today. We're going to prove to you what we do each and every day is the best sports talk that you'll have during your day. We got Bobby the Chief Taylor going to come on at 10:15, going to talk some Lightning. Ugly loss last night to the Wild. Did you watch any of that, Nikki?
Amazingly, I did stay up for the duration of that game.
Yeah.
I did make it through it.
Yeah, but Vasi didn't play last night. He was a late scratch. Brian Elliott had to play back-to-back. I said that's going to be tough. So we will chat with Bobby the Chief Taylor. Scott Reynolds is going to join us at 10:30 from the Pewter Report. One of the few guys that's been covering the Bucs longer than me in this town. But Scotty, we always have great conversations with him. Very knowledgeable. And we'll get into a lot of stuff on the Bucs today, especially like what are we doing here this week? Playing a lot of these starters. I just don't get it. And we'll have Todd Bowles press conference. We play the press conferences here, so you hear the actual players and their sound bites. We have Carlton Davis had a really interesting conversation with Kevin O'Donnell that the Bucs put up on their website from Fox 13 Sports. So we're going to play that later on in the show too. Very interesting discussion about Damar and player safety. So we'll get to that as well. And Dave Archer is going to join us from Atlanta. He is the analyst on the Falcons radio network, my former colleague. Great dude, very learned, also covers Georgia. So we'll talk to him a little bit about the national championship game coming up. And in between, we've got tons of great stuff to talk about all Tampa Bay. And you guys can jump in on Facebook and comment on the show. And we will try to either read or put your comments up. If you're watching on YouTube, you can jump in there on the other Facebooks. You can always comment, and we try to interact with you guys as much as we can. We don't take calls, but we're going to interact with you as much as we can on the chat. So feel free to jump in there and comment, and we'd love to interact with you that way. So we'll get started with first and foremost, the latest on Damar, and it's good news. It's really good news. And it came from his dad. And Adam Schefter got the story through someone who was with the Bills, but Adam Schefter reporting that his dad did a Zoom call with the Bills as a team and reported back that the information was positive. He's breathing more normally on his own, so the vital signs are better, and he is improving. So that's fantastic news. And I was talking to a cardiologist last night, and he said, it's weird. He said it's weird that there's not more information coming out. Normally we would have had the press conference by the doctors, that we've seen tons and tons of time, but evidently in this particular situation, the NFL and whoever's controlling the information here it's very, very much controlled. And, whether that's because the family wants it that way or whatever, fine, whatever. I hope we do get, most of the information so that the players know what's going on. The players know what happened. The public knows what happened. Families know what happened. Anybody who has a son or a son playing tackle football, certainly wants to know what happened. And it's very, it's not very clear right now. So, but hopefully that will come out and the truth will come out, hopefully. So we know everything that happened and people can make decisions accordingly, because there's a lot of parents out there that see something like this and they're like, do I want my son to play tackle football? I'm sure there's a lot of players out there that want to know, as Carlton Davis does, so they can protect themselves. Maybe the league can do something more, adding more padding or something. So hopefully Damar recovers first and foremost. Hopefully he recovers fully. Hopefully we learn what happened and we can make adjustments and we can find out if it was a shock to the heart. What can we do for padding? Just something Carlton talked about when we play that interview. So there's a lot of different things going on here, and that's why the information is important for a lot of different people. There's been reaction around the league. We're going to play that reaction from the Bucs as well. Todd Bowles, I thought, had some interesting things to say. We'll hear from him in just a minute as well. So as we get to the news of the day, yesterday Todd Bowles talked about playing his starters, and we also saw the injury report. Tristan Wirfs still has an ankle injury and was limited in his participation. The other tackle, Donovan Smith, still has a foot injury and was limited in his participation. Now, my good friend Kevin O'Donnell yesterday was asking the players, and telling them that 77% of the teams. I'm not exactly sure how we know this particular stat, because it's not you rest your players or you don't rest your players. You rest some. Like what are the numbers objectively? And I'm not questioning Kevin. I think it's a great stat, by the way. That 77% of the teams that rest their players lose in the first round of the playoffs. That's a significant stat. That is very significant. And I have always believed philosophically that if you can, you should play your players and try to win a game and keep momentum going. Absolutely. If you go in scared, you play scared. That's nothing good can happen from that. That being said, every situation is different, and every situation calls for a different solution. And in this particular situation, when your two starting offensive tackles have lower leg injuries, a foot injury for Donovan Smith and a high ankle sprain for Tristan Wirfs, which usually takes 6 weeks for a player to come back from 6 to 8 weeks. And he came back in 3 weeks and re-injured it two games ago and is still hobbling around. Have we seen how this team works with a healthy Tristan Wirfs? Really good. Really good. Have we seen what this team looks like without Tristan Wirfs? Really bad. Really, really, really bad. So, with that being said, if you're going to play the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons in that front line in the first week, you really want to go out and put Donovan Smith and Tristan Wirfs on their feet on artificial surface, a sticky artificial surface in Atlanta, notoriously, and put that torque and wear and tear on these guys when they don't have to. You have the week to rest. And then you're going to play the next week. That's lunacy. That's lunacy. And again, I don't know the extent of the injuries, but the fact that they were limited in practice tells me that's still there. And common sense tells you these type of injuries don't heal overnight. I just don't understand for the life of me why you would put those guys out there. And maybe they won't, but then this leads to the next question. If those two tackles aren't out there, Tom Brady cannot play. Not a freaking snap. No offense to Brandon Walton. I'm sorry. We saw what happened with J.J. Watt. No. Tom Brady does not take a snap if those tackles aren't out there. And any other decision is complete coaching negligence, in my opinion. And they may get away with it, and that's fine, but I think it's complete lunacy. If you're two offensive and you get the opportunity to get them off their feet all week long, no practice whatsoever, to help heal these injuries. What are we doing? And again, I'm not there. I'm not the trainer. But from the information that we have available, this seems like it's crazy to me. Because it's not like an ankle sprain is just going to go away like that. It's more apt to get sprained because it's already sprained. Those ligaments are damaged, and it takes time to heal them. Why would you not get them off their feet their whole entire week? It makes zero sense to me. But I'm not the head coach, and I don't know the particulars of each and every injury. So, but I just think that's crazy. Let's listen to Todd Bowles yesterday, but first part of it, and get a kind of feel for what he's thinking. And this all could be kind of a ruse anyway, and then they don't play any of these guys. But who knows? I don't know why you do that, but Todd Bowles, courtesy of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Should be able to hear the question. What's going on? Stand by for a soundbite.
Yeah, give me a second here. See if I can figure this one out.
All right. So, and again, Todd basically, and we'll hopefully hear him say this in a second. It's basically, we're planning on this. We're planning on that. Another thing he's planning on doing, which I love to see, is Kyle Trask. And this is another opportunity. And I think another opportunity wasted if you don't get at least a half to see what Kyle Trask can do in an NFL game. And I know it's not going to be a super competitive game, but you never know. We're going to talk to Dave Archer and kind of get a feel for what the Falcons are thinking about this game. Like, how would they presented this play?
Yeah, here we go. I got it now.
Okay.
It seemed like a pretty good level of participation. Saw Nassif out there, saw Dean, lots of the guys that were kind of iffy out there. Encouraged by what you see?
Not yet. I got to see him full speed, more of a jog through, so to speak. So as we get into it Thursday and Friday, I'll see where they are.
Yeah, see, that leaves the door open.
Where do you
So.
see at least Donovan Smith and Vita Baird? Have they had a setback, or is it just like a resting?
No, they're sore, so they didn't practice today.
They're sore.
Has the plan changed from after we talked to you after the game? You still want to go with the starters because there's things you want to work on, or has that changed a little bit?
As of right now, everybody's playing.
As of right now.
Obviously, you use analytics for a lot of your decisions, but does that play in fact of playing starters when you look at the success rate of teams that have not rested starters and winning in the playoffs versus teams that do rest their starters going in?
Not much in that case. More or less injuries or how bad people are hurt will play into it, as opposed to more or less just resting them to rest them. We got a lot of things to work on.
Todd, I know you want to play the starters, not as the goals to win. Is there anything different in terms of the likelihood of dressing Trask as a third quarterback, knowing there might be a situation if
He may dress. He has a good chance of dressing.
How does he handle being, inactive for so long?
This is a great quote here from Bowles. His question is on Trask. How has he handled it? If you can't hear it.
Since he's been here, every time I look out my window, he's out there working on his own. He has the greatest resolve and toughness and inner strength almost than any person I've seen. A young guy coming out. He prepares every day. When his time comes, he's going to be ready because I see him working at it every day. He has inner toughness. He has inner strength, and he has the drive and the will to win. So if you put that together, given the opportunity, I think he's going to take advantage of it.
Okay, let's stop. We'll stop right there. We'll listen to the rest of Bowles a little bit later on. But wow, that is effusive praise of a man who has not has dressed one time for an NFL game, and it tells me something else, that Kyle Trask is in the Bucs' plans. You don't talk about a guy like that without him being very much in the plans of this team. So if you think that this organization has soured on Kyle Trask, or they haven't seen enough, that is not true. Clearly by that statement, he's very much in their plans. And if he is in their plans, all the more reason that he needs to play a significant amount in this game. And, we love Blaine Gabbert, and he should probably get some snaps as well. But, as far as the future of this football team, what are we doing after Tom Brady? We have to have a strategy here, and you would get incredible amount of information getting him into a regular season NFL game. This is critical information going into an NFL offseason. I mean, if you were to go out and more for this, if you were just to go out and really shine and play well, and it's not just about the results, it's more about how he's processing things, how quickly he's processing things, how he sees the field, all those things that the coaches will know way more than us. It's valuable information. It's not like preseason. A totally different deal. And you got to make a lot of decisions regarding quarterbacks in this offseason. So this is critical information, and you have a golden opportunity. You're gifted a golden opportunity here to get this done and get this information. Again, coaching negligence if you don't take advantage of it. As an organization, you have to take advantage of it. This week should be about getting a look at Kyle Trask to see what's up, resting players that are injured, and get ready for and doing some preparation for the Cowboys or the Eagles, mostly the Cowboys. I mean, this should all be about next week. Nothing should be about this week. Whether, Brady needs to play because he hasn't played, he's never missed a game. I don't care. He needs 35 completions for 500. I don't care. I don't care about any of that stuff. Everything they do this week should be to get ready for the Cowboys in the first week of the playoffs, or the Eagles, whatever it's going to be. That's it. That's it. This game against the Falcons means nothing. Be a smart organization. Be a proactive organization. Do it the right way here. To me, the signs are not good. If they're playing injured starters, I mean, which clearly Bowles is like, let's see what happens this week. And I can't believe if Wirfs is still hobbling around on Thursday and Friday, he's going to play. He's not. And then, then you have to make the decision about Brady. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side, and Bobby the Chief Taylor is going to join us. We'll talk some Lightning here. We'll get back to the Bucs at 10:30 with Scott Reynolds and Dave Archer coming up a little bit later on. We are brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and his medical team over there will help you lose weight, testosterone replacement therapy, immune system boosting. So all that great stuff at BAMMC.com. And the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES Law Group.com. Back in 3 with Bobby the Chief Taylor. Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you. Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call? 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If you've been in an accident or got your car totaled and didn't get what you think you deserved, you probably have a case. Go to their website, JeevesLawGroup.com, set up a free consultation, find out if you can get a case. You could collect thousands, hundreds of dollars. You never know. It's a free call, so find out if that happened to you. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Bobby the Chief Taylor, who joins us now. How's it going, Chief? How's the renovation going? Are we done yet? What are we doing here?
Oh, not quite, JP.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, it's been going on since October. Actually, it started the Monday of the hurricane. Not good
Oh my
timing.
God! And how
But
long?
we're
How
close.
long did they tell you it was going to take, and how over budget is it by this time?
Yeah, oh God! Well, the biggest problem was that this house was built in '60, so that meant the codes were different.
Yes.
So when they tried to move the kitchen down, and they had to cut the pipe, the slab to join
Yes.
the pipes weren't up to code, so we had to tear all the plumbing pipes out of the whole house. So it doubled the cost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
anyway, if you see me on the street corner saying need help for house renovation with a sign up, give generously.
Yeah, and like they didn't know that in 1960 that you lose a certain kind of pipe, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't know this was going to happen. It's only happened on 500 other jobs we've done. Who knew? Oh, now it's all ripped up, and like you have a choice. Like, forget about it. Let's don't do it. Okay, see you later. Yeah, what a scam. Anyway, let's talk about the Lightning last night, which we got scammed into that one. We thought we were going to see Vasi last night, but unfortunately, he could not post a late illness. It happens, right? But, this time Brian Elliott has to play back-to-back for the first time since 2017. You were an alternate goalie at times. So did this ever happen to you? I'm sure it did. And it's got to be that's tough duty, man.
Yeah, what it is, JP. It's the mental part of the game, because when you're playing, you start preparing yourself the night before,
right.
And you're kind of going over the lineup in your mind and who to watch for, like for instance Minnesota, you got to really Kaprizov. I can always never pronounce his name
Kaprizov.
right, but Kirill, Kaprizov, and he, you see, I got to pay attention to that guy.
Yeah.
It's like when everybody plays us, they got to say, okay, we got to look out for Stamkos, Point, and Kucherov.
Yep.
And so you kind of go over your mind who to watch, who not to watch, and so the mental preparation is the one. And if you don't, you get to know that if you find out, late in the day, it just kind of hits you like with the right hook. So you kind of, it's hard to focus. Well, not as hard to focus, but it's just the preparation mentally for goalies is a lot better, a lot tougher in a sense that you want to have a little bit of a margin to get prepared for it.
Absolutely. And physically it's got to be tough too. I mean, going back to back, the travel, and it's something that you don't do very often. That's got to be very difficult.
Yeah, it does. But these guys are in such good shape, I mean, that's sometimes like my partner when I played in Philly, Bernie Perron, he loved playing the second half of a back-to-back.
Right.
So guess how many games I got?
Not many.
So anyway, but so it some guys are different. But I think and Moose played really, really well. It was a game where they played solid. I thought Minnesota played one of the best defensive games I've seen from a team in a long time.
Yeah.
They made it very, very hard to get any kind of a flow. And any time that you challenge our points, a lot in the offensive zone, it cuts our effectiveness offensively by a good 50%, because a lot of our offense is generated from back there, and if they're up there to challenge them, you can't get any flow. We didn't get our shots through a whole lot, there was a couple of good saves, but he never had a lot of wows,
Yep.
And then you take a look, think about it. 2 fluky goals.
2 off skates.
One went off a guy's, off a skate. One went off a guy's butt. So it's for me. And then you got an empty net goal. So it's a 2-1 hockey game basically.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where that happens. I thought we were just a half a stride or step a little bit slower than Minnesota. But they've been sitting there waiting, and they've been playing very, very well. They work hard. And that's a big asset for them, because outside of the Kaprizov, here I go again. He's the big home run hitter, the big superstar for them.
Yeah.
Because the number one centerman had 7 goals, and they were jumping up and down how great he was doing.
Right.
You know, hello.
Yeah.
You know, but I thought they played really well. Their depth as far as working and checking, they played their game plan to a T, and it made it very difficult for us to get any offensive flow, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. And I had to ask my man Nick here how to pronounce Kaprizov's name as well, Kirill Kaprizov. And he's 25 years old.
Yeah.
And last night they showed a couple of the close-ups of this kid. He looks like he's 12 years old. My God. But, man, does he have some hands? That kid is really, really – he looks so young, but he's like a child assassin. He's got some hands. Yeah, keep your eye on that cat. And I thought
he's close to Kucherov, I tell you, in moving that puck and knowing where guys are going to go in his anticipation. He's very close to Kuch.
Yeah, and he got a goal last night as well. It's his 21st of the year. And Nick Perbix almost had a great moment, huh? He's from Minnesota, there from Minneapolis, and he had a great opportunity set up by Kuch. And Gustafsson was really good last night, I thought, too. I thought he was really, really good. And that save, I think, was huge. It was 1-0 at the time, I believe. And that would have been a big goal for the Lightning to get them going again. But Gustafsson was really good last night, didn't you think?
Yeah, you know what I really liked about him was that he found the puck quickly and got to his spot very quickly. So you would say, oh, they shot right at him. Well, a lot of times it's because the goalie gets there and cuts that angle off, you know, and you have to make that perfect shot. And I thought he did it extremely well last night, you know, and that's why we never saw too many old wow saves, you know.
Right.
Even the shots that he made from the glove, you know, one of the things that I don't, for me, it happens to us a lot. You know, a lot of teams block out really well for us. We can't get to the front of the net to deflect, or we can't get there to screen us off it.
Yeah.
And I thought Minnesota was really good at that. You know, we didn't see very many tips. We didn't see any second shots at all. And I thought their D and their forwards really blocked out well. And it was just a game that, you know, gosh, they got the bounces, we didn't. But they also were, I thought, a half a stride to stride, a little bit quicker and everything in the game. So they impressed me, and I didn't expect it to be like that.
Hey, Chief, Bobby the Chief Taylor joining us here. Did you pick up anything from the Chicago game, the Lightning, the first leg of the 3-game trip where they beat Chicago? I mean, Chicago obviously is struggling. They're rebuilding, but they beat them 4-1. I thought Elliott played well. Anything you picked up from that game?
Well, you know, one of the things that, like, for me, sometimes when we play a game, we kind of ease ourselves into the game instead of just setting the tone right off the bat. And I thought that we kind of eased into that game. But, you know, what really helped us, too, is when Kane went down, you know, because they had a couple of power plays, and they got a good power play. You know, I mean, it's in the middle of the road as far as, but it's over 20%, which is pretty solid. And they're the best face-off team in the league. So, you know, you're going to have zone time, and especially with the power play and his ability to pass, shoot, and whatever. So I thought that helped us out too. But the Lightning played very, very well. They just made sure that they just limited to their opportunities, and I think that's a key for this team. They're getting better and better at it. You know, where instead of trying to open up when it's in a one goal game or one game or whatever the case may be, they wait, and they if they can't get things going, they make sure they play a solid defensive game. And I thought that was really a strong point in the Chicago game.
Bobby Chief Taylor joining us. Before you go, Chief, Friday night we got Winnipeg ends this road trip here. Hopefully they can get a couple points, come home with 4 points on this road trip. Winnipeg's won 3 in a row. They're sitting at second behind Dallas in the Central, 24-13-1. 49 points, very similar to what the Lightning have done. It's a good team. It'll be a good test on Friday. Tell me a little bit about that matchup.
Yeah, you know, Hellebuck is back to his, Vezina Trophy days right now. He's a really good goaltender, and you're gonna have to work for everything he got. It's going to be a very similar type of a game against Minnesota, except I think they got a few more finishers in Winnipeg than they do than Minnesota. So you're going to have to really play a smart and a hard game. And I was thinking about this last night. In fact, I mentioned it to Eric Erlinson. I said, think about this. Remember when Stamkos scored and got his 60th there? He might get 2 tomorrow and get his 500.
Oh, we don't want to see that, Chief. Come on. We want to see it next week. That's Columbus.
I know.
Yeah, come on.
Well, I mean, he's due. He's
due.
He hasn't had a goal in a little while, so he's due. So you never know. I mean, it's been a very, very good building for him to play in.
Yeah, that's true. So, you know what? We'll take it anytime we can get it, right? Well, I would much rather it happen at home. We all would, but that'll be just fine if he does it up there. We'll celebrate it when he gets home. It's all good. But we shall see. That's going to be a really, really good game on Friday night. That'll be on Bally Sports Sun. All right, Chief, go back to the plumbing work there, man. Go cut some pipes there.
Yeah.
Get that stuff all taken care of.
You know what I get? The only problem is I can't get my pants low enough to show the crack there like all plumbers do.
I wasn't expecting the plumber crack joke, but that was a good one. Now you've had about 3 months of plumber cracks. That's a lot to take.
There you go. All right.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. He comes home and he's like, "Oh, who brought the watermelons home?" Oh my God, that's not what you want to see when you get home. All right, quick break. When we come back, Scott Reynolds is going to join us from Pewter Report, and we may have a healthy debate here this morning on what the hell the Bucs are doing this week. I don't think we know for sure yet, but I don't know. This has got me all grinded up. So we'll talk to Scott Reynolds when we come back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, and Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you're looking to lose weight in the new year, do it with a personal medical plan for you. That's what they do at BAMMC.com. Back in 3. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call? 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you. JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations. Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call, 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others, 888-325-0605.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, to the Jeeves Law Group, and the Golden Diamond Source. The after Christmas sale is on, so make sure you keep that money local with the great community folks at the Golden Diamond Source. And they got great sales and great selection still, so check it out. All right, let's go to our diamond, our man, Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report. What's up, my friend? Happy New Year to you. That was a hell of a season for your Kansas State Wildcats. That was a great finish, huh?
It was. It wasn't exactly, the finish we wanted. I love the Big 12 championship aspect of it. Didn't think we were going to beat Alabama. It looked promising in the first quarter, but Alabama's a blue blood. We're not
toe to toe with them.
We made too many mistakes. You have to play a perfect game if you're a Kansas State going up against Alabama. In other words, you got to play your A game and hope Alabama plays their B game. And I think that played out in the first quarter, but Alabama's A game showed up, and we fell down to like a C grade, for the rest of the game, and it was unfortunate.
A great season, just like
it
my
was.
Seminoles in your K-State. You look back on the whole thing. We should have blown out Oklahoma. We didn't, but I'll take the win.
Yeah, but Kansas State's basketball team, holy smokes, we beat number 24 West Virginia to start Big 12 play in overtime, and then destroyed the number 6 Texas Longhorns the other night, 116-103. And that's not an overtime score. That's a regulation score.
Jesus. Defense optional. So defense is optional on the basketball court, just like the football field?
Apparently, but we can score points, man. I mean, K-State's 13-1 right now under new head coach Jerome Tang, who was a 19-year assistant with the Baylor Bears, helping them win a national championship in 2021. So future's bright for Kansas State sports, including their basketball team, which is a welcome sign, because usually we're not known as a basketball school, but we might be now. We're having a hell of a year. And our leading scorer is Keontae Johnson. Remember him from the Florida Gators? Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He's playing again.
He's playing after 2 years off. He's playing, and I think he's averaging close to 20 points per game. So he's been a tremendous player.
Good to see him back out there. That's awesome. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But you got all these celebrities around your program. I was like USC, Rondé Barber, Kurt Warner, Scott Reynolds. You guys you're everywhere. What the hell's going on there at K-State?
We got something special going on. Our football team. It's funny because when you're looking to replace a legend, and you've seen this firsthand with Bobby Bowden, right, at Florida State. When you're trying to replace a legend and Bill Snyder, that's not easy to do. No. And the first time around when Snyder retired the first time, we turned to Ron Prince. That was the Josh Freeman years. That was a disaster. And it was so bad that Bill Snyder had to come out of retirement and say, hold on, you're destroying my program. I got to rebuild this thing. So he did. He won a Big 12 championship 2 years after he came out of retirement with Colin Klein as his quarterback. Colin Klein was the Heisman Trophy runner-up.
Yeah. And
we had a really, really strong season that year, won the Big 12. And now Colin Klein is the offensive coordinator at Kansas State. And the head coach that they picked to replace Bill Snyder was a guy regarded as the Nick Saban of the FCS, Chris Kleiman at North Dakota State. North Dakota State, I think he won 6 national championships while he was there, including 4 as a head coach. So he's working wonders in Manhattan right now. We've had our best recruiting class ever this year. I think number 30th in the nation, which is tough for a little program like Kansas State to do. But all signs are pointing up, much like they are for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who clinched the NFC South for a second straight year and getting a very important win.
Head coaching matters, no question about it, at every level. So I'm having a conniption this week with this whole idea of the Bucs playing their starters, including Tom Brady, especially when you have guys like, and listen, I'm philosophically in line with the idea that you play your starters instead of resting them in the week, at least for half, but not when they're injured. And especially the injuries we're dealing with Tristan Wirfs, high ankle sprain, and Donovan Smith, a foot. These big men should be off their feet for the entire week. I don't want them practicing. that sticky turf in Atlanta. I want no part of that, torquing that ankle for Tristan Wirfs.
Right.
And if those two guys aren't playing, which they should not be,
then Tom Brady shouldn't play. Yeah.
Hell to the no.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
I'm in favor of that because it is a domino effect, right? You can't just say, well, we're going to play Tom Brady, but then we're going to play Brandon Walton at one tackle, and who's the other tackle? Josh Wells is out. So, yeah, it makes it difficult. This is not like the preseason where you've got 80 some guys to draw from, where you have an entire second string offensive line. That's not the case. I think the Buccaneers have 9 or 10 offensive linemen, and to me, some of those backups they're not starting caliber players like John Molchin, Brandon Walton at this stage. They're just not. So I'm definitely in favor of that. The other thing is this. If you're the Buccaneers and Tom Brady, he might play 2024. I'm leaning to the fact that he comes back to the Buccaneers for one more season. But if he does, that's it. Okay. And then you're going to be into year 3 of Kyle Trask next year. Right. And then after Brady leaves, then it will be Kyle Trask's last year under contract, his 4th year. We saw in training camp, he got extended playing time because Tom Brady took a 10-day leave of absence, missed the Tennessee Titans game altogether. Kyle Trask did not impress enough for him to win the number 2 job and beat out Blaine Gabbert. Okay, now to Gabbert's credit, his play was elevated by Trask's arrival, and he had his best training camp and the best preseason he's had as a Buccaneer. So it wasn't like he was stagnant and Trask didn't get any better. Trask got better, but so did Gabbert, and it still kind of is that number 2 and number 3 on the depth chart thing. So if you're a Kyle Trask proponent, that's a little disappointing that he couldn't make that jump and at least kind of make it tough for the coaches. Is it Gabbert or Trask, right? The other thing is this. We've only seen Kyle Trask with the backups.
Right.
We've never seen Kyle Trask throw to Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. We've never seen Kyle Trask behind Tristan Wirfs and Donovan Smith, right, blocking. And so to me, if you want to get a good gauge of Kyle Trask, this is the game to do it. You start him behind the starters, right? And then play Donovan Smith, play Tristan Wirfs for a quarter, for a half, and then put in Scrub McGee or whoever you're going to put in as your tackles. And if Kyle Trask gets hurt, no offense, Kyle, but it's not the end of the world. He's your third string quarterback. You're not going to need him, hopefully, in the playoffs. So to me, use this opportunity to get an honest, fair evaluation. The other thing is this. If they play Brady a half, if they play Blaine Gabbert a quarter, and they play Kyle Trask a quarter, Kyle Trask, there's going to be some backup players around him at that time. He's not going to be throwing to Mike Evans in the 4th quarter. He's just not, right? And same with Chris Godwin, et cetera. So there goes that kind of, opportunity out the window. He's going to be throwing to Scotty Miller and Devin Tompkins, Brashad Perriman, just like the preseason. Yeah, but he's going to be doing it against Atlanta's starting defense at that time. And so you want to have good
opportunity. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. You want to have good on good. So if I'm the Buccaneers, I say, we've already clinched this. Yeah. I mean, it's going to look better if we're 9-8. I know Tom Brady's going to want to play, but who cares? What's more important, the 9-8 record you're already in, or this is your window. This is your opportunity to take the number 3 quarterback and make him the starter and see what you got. And you know what? If the kid falls on his face and if he's struggling out there, then pull him and go with Blaine Gabbert for the rest of the game. So I agree. I think that this should be the game where you start Trask and see what he can do.
Listen, I said that, more mildly than you did. I said, well, at least you got to get him in the second half. But your point is better. And this is not a throwaway thing. Like people like, oh, who cares if Kyle Trask? Bull crap. You got to figure out who your quarterback is. And I may disagree with you on Brady for 23 here. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's anywhere close to a lock or anything. You may be making this decision sooner than later. And for God's sakes, how would you like to be sitting here in the offseason going, hey, we just got a great look at Kyle Trask for a whole real NFL team with starters? Yes. Or you're sitting there going, hey, we still don't know what he can do. This is a golden opportunity. This is real business, folks. This is a dadgum NFL football team, when you're talking about the quarterback position, this is a golden opportunity to
It
get
is.
information that you would never be able to extrapolate
Yep.
in any other way. Don't
Right.
F it up.
Yeah,
Don't-
and
this is
here's the thing: if the Bucs lose against the Falcons, then what do? You blame it on Trask, right? So it's so they're 8-9, and like, okay, they're 8-9, and then we all kind of say, well, they would have beat the Falcons if they would have started Brady and all that. Sure, that's fine. That's conjecture, but the reality of it is this situation does not present itself normally in the regular season unless there is an injury, and there's not. So use this opportunity to play Kyle Trask. It really is.
Golden opportunity. I 100% agree with that. All right, so and I still have a problem with you don't play Vita Vea for damn sure. You don't
Correct.
play him.
Yeah.
You don't play, and you're not going to play Carlton Davis.
Correct.
So I got to ask, obviously,
Yeah.
about the elephant in the room and what happened to Damar the other night. And I thought the Bucs put up a interview with Carlton Davis that we're going to play here in a little bit, and he talked about he was talking about player safety. Like,
Right.
we got to do something more.
Mhm.
And it struck me not only for the fact that, like, what do we do? And he's like, maybe extra padding in the shoulder pads, in
Right.
the chest area, blah blah blah. But to me, it's like, oh wow, this is what these players are thinking about right now.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
thinking about their football mortality, and how could they not? How could they not? Think
Sure.
about their
Of
regular
course.
mortality, their life mortality,
Right.
not just football mortality. So
Right.
this is a stunning event that has happened. What is your take on the whole thing? How it was handled? What happened? The whole nine.
Well, I mean, I think the league did the right thing in stopping the game, right, and just not continuing. I think that was the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
We've seen, there's been reports about high school players, dying on the field or collapsing due to cardiac incidents and all that. And there's supposed to be, there's supposed to be ambulances on the field in high school, and I'm assuming that they are, right? But sudden cardiac events happen when people are jogging and they literally just die in the street or have a heart attack, and they're hoping some passerby comes by. Thankfully, there's an ambulance on site, right, where they could address this thing immediately, which they did, and they saved the kid's life. Is really what it's all about, and they did the right thing in diagnosing it quickly. I'll say this: I've played football a little bit, I've coached it a little bit, I've covered it professionally a lot. I've seen harder hits. We don't know what would cause this yet. We don't know if it's a genetic thing. We don't know if there was a blood clot, right? That contact jarred loose and went to the kid's heart. We don't know, so we're kind of speculating. But I've seen harder hits.
Ruled that out, which is ridiculous. You can't
What's
rule
that?
out anything.
No, you can't rule out anything.
Can't rule out anything at this point because we have no information. Which, by the way, you covered these things for a long time, and within 24 hours, certainly you'll have the doctor's press conference. The doctors will come out. They'll be asked questions, and people will know a lot of information. The information release on this, and it's secondary, obviously, to what's going on with Damar, but I think it's important because there are a lot of parents that are paying attention to this.
Sure.
A lot of players that are paying attention to this. Everybody's like, we want to know what happened so that we make informed choices. We want to know the truth of what happened so everybody can make informed choices, and this doesn't happen again.
Yeah. I will say this, though. I understand the cause for concern and the alarm, and it's all warranted. This is extremely rare. Like, this is rare, right? I mean, when you have professional commentators, and even you and I, JP, who have watched and covered NFL football, college football professionally for decades, we've never seen this happen before.
Nope.
So, what are the chances this is going to happen again? I have to think it's rare, right? I mean, I'm all for player safety. But it wasn't like listen, we've seen more bone jarring hits. We've seen hits that cause concussions. We've seen hits that break bones, collarbones, etc. This looked like a routine hit, so much so that he actually got up, right? And then he collapsed. So again, we don't know if there's something genetic. We don't know if there's something undetected. My father played high school softball and football. And come to find out later in life, he's got a small little hole in his heart. You know, they didn't detect that stuff back in the 50s, when he played, or the 60s when he went to college. I mean, just didn't do that back then. They didn't have the technology and whatnot. So they can do it now. And we don't know exactly what's caused this, but to me, I don't know that this is a football related issue other than he was playing football when it happened, because this is a cardiac arrest issue. And the hit that he delivered or took, whatever, was routine. It was not a slobber knocker. It was not a, lights out, blast by any means. And so something had to cause this cardiac episode. And
they know by now. They know by now what happened.
Well, I would think so. I would hope so.
And I don't know why the information is not getting out. They should know by now. It's just weird to me. But let's hope that we all learn from this when we get the information, and players and coaches and parents can move forward with some degree of knowledge and be able to make informed decisions, and I think that's what's important here.
Right.
All right. So here we go into the playoffs, and this game is obviously meaningless in terms of seeding and everything else.
Right.
But what does it mean? What do you want to see? What do you think the Bucs should do, and what is important this week?
Throw deep to Mike Evans. It works.
I'm guessing Atlanta will probably have 2 high safeties in this game and won't play.
Well, I don't know. Historically, they don't. I mean, and Mike has feasted against the Falcons. Now we'll see what Arthur Smith.
By the way, can we do away? My friend Nick over here always says that Mike Evans is not a deep threat. Just because he's a big guy doesn't mean he's not a deep threat. The dude can get deep.
He can. He typically draws. Yeah, he typically draws double coverage. Teams will play him with a 2 high safety. That does not allow him to get deep, right? Unless you're Jameis Winston, where if Mike's double covered, you're going to give him a 50-50 ball, right? That's just what happened for so many years under Jameis. Tom Brady's not going to do that. But if you give Mike single coverage, and I even asked Mike after the game, I said, Mike, you've got 3 touchdowns now against the Panthers. You came in with 7. That's 10 touchdowns out of your career that have come against the Panthers now. That ties you with the Falcons for the most touchdowns against a specific team. And he said, usually the Falcons and Panthers will play me either cover 1 or cover 3, which means there's a single high safety and you're either playing deep zone or you're playing man coverage with a single high safety. And he says the Saints don't do that. The Saints play cover 2 or 2 high. And that's why he's not as productive touchdown-wise against the Saints, unless it's red zone, which is where Mike has scored most of his touchdowns against the Saints. So I think that's why that happened. But the big misnomer is, and it was kind of fitting, right, that on the day Bruce Arians goes into the Bucs Ring of Honor, they score 30 points. Yeah. Right? It just because that was like what Bruce did over the last 2 years is his offense has scored 30 points.
He was on the field, yes.
Per game, yeah. But having said that, the only difference in this game, as opposed to any other Buccaneer game offensively, was just those 3 deep shots to Mike. Because they couldn't run the ball. They averaged 2.8 yards per carry. They had 67 rushing yards. Their third down conversions were poor. They were just around 26% of their third down conversions. Their red zone efficiency was poor. They were 1 of 3 in the red zone. Their goal to go efficiency was poor. It was 1 out of 2, right? So the offense didn't really perform any better outside of those 3 deep shots, which I believe all happened in a hurry-up 2-minute offense. So I as a big defensive guy, a proponent of defense, I understand Todd Bowles' caution about not running the 2-minute offense as kind of a staple, because what happens if the offense gets that expected 3 and out, well, then your defense in a quick no huddle hurry up offense is on the field faster. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I don't care about the defense. Screw it. That's the only time this offense seems to get points. So I'd rather take the chance that my defense is going to get a little winded because I might get 7 as opposed to the inevitable 3 and out or stalled drive or turnover that's going to happen while the defense is getting an extra minute or 2 on the sidelines with the oxygen. So I think that right now that's a gamble and risk I would take is, let's incorporate the 2-minute offense more rather than just when we have to use it. Let's use it as a weapon rather than a defense mechanism.
I couldn't agree more. So defensively, did you see anything this past week that made you think that this team is getting better defensively? They're getting turnovers. Anthony Nelson has 3 strip sacks in the last 4 games. So I think more than anything, that was the biggest thing I took out of this game.
I agree.
One of them was an unforced error on Darnold. Bad snap. You don't really get too much credit for that.
Right.
But the other 2, are good takeaways, and that's something that we've started to see. That's great.
Sean Murphy-Bunting's playing great football right now. That sounds weird to say, but he's. Really it's funny how they've passed the best cornerback mantle around this year, right? It was, Carlton Davis got paid, so he kind of entered the season as the best cornerback. Jamel Dean in week 2 said, "I'll take that mantle from you. I'm going to have 2 interceptions against the Saints, and I'm going to play really well on my contract year." Then his play kind of dipped down. Carlton got hurt. Sean Murphy-Bunting's come in and played really, really good football. I mean, it hasn't had the kind of gaffes and blown coverages we've seen from him. He had a great pass breakup in the end zone, had a great interception at the 1-yard line. It was a hard play to make. So I love the next man up mentality they've had in the secondary. Now, if they can get 2 of those guys playing really, really well at the same time, whether it's Davis and Dean or Dean and Sean Murphy-Bunting or Davis and Sean Murphy-Bunting, whoever it is, they're going to be lights out. And I just hope that they play the Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs. I want no part of the Philadelphia Eagles. That pass rush, man, is just insane. 68 sacks. Dude, 68 sacks. They have 4 players with double-digit sacks. Hassan Reddick has 16. Josh Sweat, the starting defensive end, has 11. Brandon Graham, the other starting defensive end, has 11. Javon Hargrave, one of their starting defensive tackles, has 11. And old man Fletcher Cox has 7. Jesus. Okay? To put that in perspective, Fletcher Cox has 7 sacks. The highest sack total by any Buccaneer this year is 6.5 by Vita Vea. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, 16, 11, 11, 11, 7, no thanks. Not with Donovan Smith in a down year on a bum wheel. Not with Tristan Wirfs with a high ankle sprain. Not with Nick Leverett and Shaq Mason and Robert Hainsey. No, thank you. I'd rather focus on stopping Micah Parsons and really zeroing in on one guy than have to worry about 5 every single down.
And of course, the great legacy of the Cowboys in the playoffs.
That's right. Yes. Bring on the choke. Yes.
Bring on the choke.
Yeah.
You think Jensen plays at all?
Who?
Ryan Jensen. You think he's going to play at all?
I don't think so. I don't think he's ready. I would not put him in the situation where he's like this. If anything, what I would do is dress him as an emergency offensive lineman against the Cowboys or the Eagles in the playoffs. And I would get him some reps as that extra tackle coming in. Right now it's Luke Gedeke, right? Because Brandon Walton, it's either one of those 2 guys. But right now it's Luke Gedeke. He's been getting those handful of snaps coming in the jumbo packages, that extra tackle/tight end. I would use Ryan Jensen in that capacity. I would ease him back into this. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready to come back and play. And you can't really platoon a starting offensive lineman. No. Ryan's got to be ready to go 65 snaps. And that's just an awful lot without playing football for 5 months. Yeah, I think they've got to ease him in.
If he's not ready to play this week, and I'm hearing he's like 85% with his strength returning, I just at this point it was a noble effort, and we'll get the details on what's coming out. I've heard they've tried to do stem cells and some other stuff, which is great. But that's a new thing, and it's and not to say that it doesn't work or hasn't worked. We'll find out. We'll find out. And
but here's the thing: you can't jeopardize Ryan Jensen's 2023 season.
Exactly.
Okay, you've already lost him for 1 year. Yeah. Right. I mean, if anything, like I said, make him your important. Yeah, right. I mean, I don't say we're on to 2023 already, but we are. We're already in it, and we I'd much rather see Ryan Jensen go 17 weeks as the starting center next year than Robert Hainsey. No offense to Robert, but Ryan Jensen's a better player. So
a better chance for Brady to come back.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
All right, my friend, tell everybody what you got going on with Pewter Report this week and as we head into the playoffs.
Lots of playoff coverage coming up. We just listed all of the opponents except for the one they don't know about yet. for the 2023 seasons. We have that story up on pewterreport.com, plus a lot of fresh content. Make sure you are following us on social media at Pewter Report on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And you can also check out our Pewter Report podcast. We do podcasts Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays during the during the season. And then we also have game day podcasts as well. You can find that on our YouTube channel, Pewter Report TV. We have one coming up today. Actually, today, 4 o'clock, Thursday, 4 o'clock. So it'll be the last one of the week before the game. So make sure you check it out. You can also subscribe to Pewter Report TV on our YouTube channel, and you can get notifications about when we go live.
All right. I'll be listening this afternoon to your heated debates on how the Bucs should handle it this week. That'll be fun to listen
You
to.
got it, man.
All right, my friend.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Yep.
Reynolds, Pewter Report. Thank you for your time, as always. All right. Good stuff right there. No, the point on Trask that I made earlier, he underscored much better than I did. And it is absolutely crucial that they get information on this. Anything else, and the whole idea that we got some things to work on. And as Scott mentioned, this offense, short of those 3 plays, and I know you're not, throw them out. That's how the drives ended, right? They were touchdowns. So you could have done other things, but I get it. One more week of trying to do the same shit you've been doing the entire season is not going to make this team any better. It'll only get them less confident. I'd rather go into the playoffs on a roll, knowing the last time we all played together, we scored 30 points, than to go out there and struggle against a bad Atlanta team, which is what you're going to do offensively, because that's what you've done all year long. That's the chances are that's what it's going to look like. So, and then you add into the fact the injured players that shouldn't be playing. I mean, to me, the 2 tackles should not be playing. It's the end of discussion. Brady doesn't play. Anything else is just, I don't know what you're thinking, but we'll see where the Bucs go. All right, quick break. When we come back, we'll get into some of the sound from yesterday. We got some more Todd Bowles. I want you to hear the Carlton Davis interview. Very interesting. And we'll talk about some other developments. What is the league going to do about this Bills-Bengals game being made up? Should they even think about making it up? We'll get to that as well when we come back. Stay with us.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance, because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah. So call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately, or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call. 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others. 888-325-0605. Oh, Merry Christmas. Santa Claus here for the Gold and Diamond Source. All right, it's JP. The holidays are the best time for engagements, right? And where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? They have the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. So avoid all the mall madness and the parking and all that BS and stay local, right? With the Gold and Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub are the family jewelers, and they'll treat you like family. And of course, they do so many great things in the community. I was just at their Hands Across the Bay, a charity event. So many people stepped up to give money for these women that have been victims of domestic abuse. It is something to behold when these women come forward and talk about what Julie and Steve have done for them. And the Golden Diamond Source funds Hands Across the Bay, and so many other great companies jump in. That's what it's all about, community, right? So let's keep it local for the holidays. If you want a perfect gift for the holidays, you should check out the unique and beautiful handcrafted jewelry from the Emilique and Julieve collections that feature fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry. And don't forget, for the holidays only, 3 to 5 year interest-free financing. It's a no-brainer for the holidays. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at theGoldenDiamondSource.com.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, the Jeeves Law Group, the Golden Diamond Source, and Italiano Insurance. Great time to check your insurance. If you do not have business insurance, you could be risking all of your personal fortune. So make sure you have it. Call Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799 to get that. And while you're at it, have your home insurance shopped around. I know prices have doubled and tripled, so why not let them shop it around? You might be able to save a little bit of money here and there. They represent dozens and dozens of companies, so do that. Let them do all the work, and you can save the money. It's Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Okay, we have an update on Damar, and it is good stuff.
Yeah, perhaps the most positive update we've got on Damar Hamlin so far, and this comes from Ian Rappaport, NFL Network. It says he opened his eyes last night and is responsive.
Yes.
This is from Rappaport, his words. One thing that's very clear from speaking to those close to him, they are endlessly appreciative of the medical care given to Hamlin on the field immediately and over the last 72 hours. And then he notes that he has been gripping the hands of those close to him, another very positive sign.
Yes. Oh, that just made my day. So, what's interesting about this story is obviously in a very tragic situation, we have all come to know Damar Hamlin's story. And it's one of so many great stories in the NFL, and if not for this, we probably never would have known it. And, here's a guy trying to, do great things. He starts a toy drive and he sets a goal of $2,500 and didn't even reach it, and this dude is all about others. He was roommates with Jordan Whitehead, and we're going to play this Carlton Davis interview here in a little second. And Carlton obviously was talking to Jordan, who's a former Buccaneer, if you don't know that. They both played together at Pitt, and we're just learning so many great things about this remarkable young man and what a giving person he is, what an awesome dude he is. And that's great. And now, this is remarkable improvement is the headline on ESPN. So this is great news. And yeah, the medical response to this was just absolutely incredible in and of itself. And if this was just a cardiac event that may have happened in any other circumstances, boy, he's lucky that he had those people there to save his life, because most of the time, you know, you don't get to the first responders within 25, 30 seconds like these guys did.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of like medical people, like former team doctors, and just people there in the medical field in general say that if this is not gonna occur like in a hospital, the next best place it could have happened was right there.
Wow.
Because of all the stuff that they had available to them in that moment to get out there with the ambulance and the CPR and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's stuff that, I mean, if it could have saved his life, really.
Oh, it definitely saved his life, being there in a football field. So, you know, there are some silver linings here. And you know, and this is, you know, I think this is important for the Bills. Obviously, they got a game to play this weekend, and they're still in search of this number 1 seed. And all this obviously secondary to Damar, but now that he's awake and, you know, not that he's out of the woods, but this is just great news. So, you know, obviously the world has to go on, and there's a lot of different things that are being said about how they make up this game. And the thing that really sticks with me is, man, how do you punish the Buffalo Bills in any way for this happening? Because if they were to win their last 2 games, they would get the number 1 seed. So, and I know everybody's talking about, you know, we don't need to play this game. It's like, I'm not involved. I'm not a player. And I think, you know, it's just, but there's a lot of people that are affected by this.
I keep thinking though, like if you were to ask every player on the Bengals and every player on the Bills, do you want to resume this game? I'm not so sure there's many that would, to be honest with you.
Even
I really don't.
Even if he pulls through and he's okay. I mean, I think it matters.
Perhaps. I mean, if you would have pulled them yesterday morning, like around this time, I just felt, I mean, that's just the way I've kept feeling. If you were to ask everybody on that team, do you want to play this game? I feel like they would have said no.
This week? Yeah, no way. But let's just say,
because I just don't know, other than this week, which that's already long off the table, I just don't know where you're putting this in.
Well, you know, as I kind of mentioned this on Tuesday, that I think the only, you know, thing you do here is get rid of the week off before the Super Bowl and just move everything back a week, and then you play this game that week, because it gives all the players, it gives all the NFL a chance to just like, okay. And then they play the game, and the Bills have a lot at stake. The Bengals have a lot at stake. And you know, and it's not insignificant to these players. It's not. It's very significant to the Buffalo Bills. And the number 1 bye, you know, this bye, the way they have it set up now, is the only team to get it, is ridiculously crucial to their chances of winning a Super Bowl. So, but in essence, what you're doing, if you don't play this game, is you're saying to the Buffalo Bills and the Bengals, who witnessed it too, by the way, you know, just because he's not on their team doesn't mean they weren't equally as affected.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know him as well as the other guys do, but they were affected by this. There's no question about it. And so now it's not like they're going to quit playing football the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
But they have limited windows to be able to win a Super Bowl. And this game is important to both teams in that way. So I'm not, and trust me, I'm not making an argument that the winning and all this stuff is more important than his life. I'm not. But come on, life goes on. Life goes on. And I'm sure there are plenty of guys on that Buffalo Bills team that are like, hey, man, come on. We worked our ass off to get to this point. Don't punish us. At least give us an opportunity to get to our goal. Isn't that something? Isn't that a thing?
I get it. It's just, I don't know what the right answer is here.
I don't either. I'm just, you know, I'm asking questions, and you know, and let's hear it from the Buffalo Bills. Like, they're going to talk today.
Yeah.
And if I hear a bunch of players go, hey, man, look, you know, we need to go out there and do this for Damar. You know, what if that's in their head? Are we going to tell you no, sure, you can't?
And every player, here's the thing, every player deals with it differently. Like when stuff like this happens, like, it's therapeutic for players to get out there and continue going.
I would think.
For some, it maybe reminds them of that moment again, and it's like a flashback, and they don't want to be near that. So, like, every player is different. So that's what it's why it's such a tricky thing. And even like playing this week, who do the Bills play this week?
Dolphins.
I mean, I've been so disconnected from like this week's schedule.
Yeah, I think they have the Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken. Big, you know.
Yeah, and this is going to be a game like the Dolphins are playing for their playoff lives, obviously, and you're a Bills team where you don't know where they're going to be mentally, right? How could they be mentally sharp coming into this one? So I already have mixed emotions about them playing a game in general this week, let alone like trying to figure out when they want to go down this path again and go back. And I don't know, just going back to that same stadium, that same locker room, that same field, that same spot where everything was. I don't know if that's something that they really want to do. I don't know. And I think, I heard other people make arguments this week about, the home field advantage thing. And how important is it in the modern NFL to have that home field in the playoffs because of the advancements, and like every player has the headset that you can hear and it doesn't affect you anymore as much. So I don't know. I've heard those arguments, and I think that's really kind of like getting a little too deep in it, in my opinion, but I've heard those arguments. So I don't know what the right answer is here. I don't know. And it's hard to answer these questions too.
Yeah. And I think, it's about the players and the team.
And I was just reminded, by the way, they play the Pats. My bad, the Bills.
Patriots. That's right, Patriots. I knew it was an AFC East showdown. And the Patriots are playing for their playoff lives.
I think did they clinch the playoffs?
No, they got to win to get in.
They got to win to get in.
So Belichick's going to have them ready. I want to hear from the players, because I know I would think in my situation. I've had, my mother passed away. I've had some other situations like that, close friends, family members. And the way I grieve is I dive into my work. I just distract myself. The last thing I want to do is be sitting around with nothing to do and thinking about stuff. That's just me. I think a lot of football players are the same way. This is what they do. I heard Rob Ninkovich say it, today on Get Up. He's like, this is their solace. This is where they go. This is their arena. This is where they feel the most comfortable. This is where they feel their purpose. And so, there's a lot of professions where tragedy happens and you got to get up and go to work the next day.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, it is just a game. This is not like law enforcement. It's not like the military. It's different. But it's not different in the fact that, how people grieve and handle things mentally. A lot of people just want to get back to work. They want to get back to do what they do. I mean, I have no stake in it whatsoever. I would just want it to be done. But I think, I know this might sound harsh to some, but I think, getting back to what we do, take time to grieve, to do what you got to do. Like, no way you play this week, no way you replay this game this week. But I think, you got to I don't want to say set a precedent, because every situation is different. But, we have new information now that he looks like he's going to pull through. So I think that's important to as well. But let's hear what the Bills say today. They're going to meet the media, those who want to. I don't think they're not forcing players to go out and talk, but some players feel it cathartic to be able to talk. And I'm sure some of them have some things they'd like to get off their chest about the coverage or whatever. So give them the opportunity. Those who don't have to be in the locker room to be with the players. There's always a place that they can go. They don't have to.
And I was going to say, like, in regards to like dealing with terrifying events and tragedy, like we've seen it this year with the Bucs too. I mean, K-Dot and his mother passed away.
Yeah.
And, I can't recall, did he miss a game?
Yeah, I think he did.
I think he missed a game, and then he came back the week later. It was back to business. I mean, obviously the big one is Brady going through divorce. We already know how that was handled.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Smith, we don't know the extent of the personal issues, but he touched on some of those. Devin White, his father. I mean, think about it. There's been a lot.
White, yeah.
We've seen a lot of that.
And he went out and played because that's what he wanted to do. And and look how he played that day.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to say to yourself, his decision to go out and play it honored the memory of his father, certainly. And certainly he played with emotion. And I would say, without that opportunity to go do that with your boys, that would be tough to just sit home and watch a game.
But everybody's different, obviously.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think there's any right or wrong answers here.
And I hate the timing of it. The timing,
but
too,
I do hate the mentality of, we just need to shut. I've heard people talk about shutting down the season. Well, we don't need to play another game.
I heard something yesterday.
Come on.
I heard something yesterday, and I'm hesitant to even bring it up in front of you. But I heard something yesterday that I
go ahead.
I don't like to criticize people's opinions really on this topic.
They're their opinions,
because it's a sensitive topic. But it was from The View, so I don't know if I should really be that shocked. But they were reading off some kind of poll about only 45% of America thinks that tackle football is a acceptable thing, and that the overwhelming majority of that is males. And then I think it was Joy Behar said it, and she said, I'm just going to leave that out there for everybody. And it kind of came off as are we trying to so we're saying we can't play tackle football anymore? and like this is a male issue. Like, I don't understand the connection there. But I saw that yesterday circulating, and it made no sense to me. And again, it's like, I know it's a sensitive situation. I hate to get on everybody's like take, I guess, on it, but it was odd to me.
We better go to a break.
That's exactly why I was hesitant to bring it up in front of you, because I don't usually bring those type of things up.
Well, I have a definite feeling on that, but my response to that at this particular time would sound very bad. Those of you who've watched the show and have followed me in my career, I think you know what I would say about that. So I will respectfully hold my tongue because of Damar and what he's going through. But yeah, no. No, we need to reverse some of those trends. Look where our society is today. Is it any better? Has it gotten better in the past 5-10 years? In my opinion, no. That's a no. That's a no for me. So yeah. All right, let's take a break. Let's take a break, and then we're going to come back and listen to Todd Bowles and Carlton Davis. So quick break, and then we got Dave Archer coming up here from Atlanta. We're going to get the Falcons' perspective as well. So quick break, and we'll be back. Oh, Merry Christmas. Santa Claus here for the Golden Diamond Source. All right, it's JP. The holidays are the best time for engagements, right? And where better to get that special ring than the Golden Diamond Source? They have the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. So avoid all the mall madness and the parking and all that BS and stay local, right? With the Golden Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub are the family jewelers, and they'll treat you like family. And of course, they do so many great things in the community. I was just at their Hands Across the Bay, a charity event. So many people stepped up to give money for these women that have been victims of domestic abuse. It is something to behold when these women come forward and talk about what Julie and Steve have done for them. And the Golden Diamond Source funds Hands Across the Bay, and so many other great companies jump in. That's what it's all about, community, right? So let's keep it local for the holidays. If you want a perfect gift for the holidays, you should check out the unique and beautiful handcrafted jewelry from the Emilique and Julieve collections that feature fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry. And don't forget, for the holidays only, 3 to 5 year interest-free financing. It's a no-brainer for the holidays. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating, or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. If you're looking to lose weight for the post-holiday gluttony that you endeavored in over the past 3 weeks, as I have, that'd be a great place to start. Get a personal medically advised program just for you at BAMMC.com. All right. So Carlton Davis did an interview yesterday in the locker room with mostly done by Kevin O'Donnell from Fox 13. Really good questions here. And he followed up on a question about safety at the end of this that I think was really, really interesting. So here's Carlton Davis, courtesy of the Buccaneers. Do we have it?
Yeah, we do. I just wanted to know if there was specifically a point here that you wanted to go to.
How long is it?
7 minutes.
Yeah, go to about the 4 minute mark. It's a 3.5. Go 3.5 minute mark.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get to that back end of it.
See, I'm really praying for him, and I really hope he pulled through.
Does that creep into your mind, just the risk you guys put out there on a weekly basis, whether it could be a season-ending, career-ending injury? When you go out there, sometimes you're not thinking as a player because you're trying to produce, but I mean, when you see something like that, does that kind of wake you up a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, like you can't go out there thinking about it, but when you see a play like that, it just put everything into perspective. Like that can happen to you, and it did happen that play. So it's like, what's the chances that it could happen to any one of us? So you just you want to be as safe as possible, but we just we can't ignore that it can happen. Like we can't ignore the fact that it didn't happen. Like we can't just move past it. Like we got to protect ourselves a little bit more. And I'm not one of the higher ups who makes these decisions, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to make some type of decision to kind of ensure the safety of us a little bit more, because that's something that your families are worried about. Like it's not just me. It's like he has a family. I'm not sure if he has kids or not, but he has so many supporters, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to know that kid was out there giving it his all for his team, and just doing what he did best, and you could potentially die from that. It's heartbreaking.
Usually it takes an extreme case of something to happen for the league to change things, but in a situation like that, it was such rare injury that he sustained. Is there anything that could be done to
I would say that is an extreme case, and I've like in 2020 I had a play where I ran into a guy and I ran into his shoulder, and it hit my chest plate, and the chest plate didn't really protect me too much, and I had to get out the game. Like I kind of fell. Luckily it just hit my sternum, and so when I seen it, I kind of replayed it in my head. Like I've been in those positions plenty of times, so you never know when you might just match it up, or it just times up the way that it did with him. So I hope that they can do something about that to help ensure the safety of the sport for future guys, for guys coming up, and just for the fans, so they won't have to deal with seeing somebody potentially die. Like, just imagine a kid going to a game and this is his first game and he has to experience that. So, it's bigger than football, and it's more just about, coming out alive, man.
Yeah, that's the heart doctor was saying. It takes a split second where your heart is expelling blood, and then you suffer basically a heart concussion at the same time.
That's crazy.
It just has to happen at that exact time, or it doesn't want to affect it.
Yeah.
So that's what's so strange about this.
That's
And we
crazy.
haven't seen, one other guy actually died on the field of a heart attack. It was 50 years ago.
Damn.
So it's not like it's happening every few years.
Yeah.
That's what's. You worry like what can be changed.
I feel like we could put some more padding in the shoulder pads to lessen the blow, so it won't be a direct hit to the heart. Maybe we, add some extra padding. Maybe we do some things differently, or because they've already been. Because that same guy, he was thrown out the game for targeting about 2 games ago. So you never know how that affected him going into the tackle. Maybe he just didn't want to be the aggressor because he had like a past experience where he got kicked out for trying to be the aggressor. Now he's just taking the blow,
right? And
look what happened. So I know something just has to change so we can be safe as players.
Really, really interesting right there at the end. Okay, because you got to think about it from Carlton's perspective, like what he just said in the injury that he went through. But what he's saying there is that Hamlin was penalized for targeting, right? For a 6th-round pick to get that, and then the FedEx and the mail, it's probably $50,000 or so. That's a lot of money for him. So I have to go back and look at the play, but instead of putting his head down and leading with his shoulder pads and head, did he more catch T. Higgins with his chest and kind of go in high like he was, like he's been told to do. And this is what Carlton's talking about, and more catch it than give it.
Yeah.
And that's a very important point. So, it sounds, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but the targeting rule could actually make things more unsafe, because how do you protect yourself as a defender? You put your head down, you get low, and you hit the player. Now we're asking you, and isn't it weird that offensive players are allowed to put their head down and go into you much more so? They said they're supposed to call this as offensive targeting, but they never do. So now you're asking the defensive players to catch these helmets with your chest, which is exactly what he did.
I mean, you know how I feel about targeting. You know how I feel about roughing the passer. In general, I think fans, at least, and players are pretty lockstep in that it's just a bit too, I don't know the word really, just it's a little too technical. I'll put it that way. It's a little too technical, especially with the speed of the game, which we've been over and over about. But at the same time, it's like, it's football. To me, it's like whatever rule, I know that. It's just, I don't want to be that guy that just I take that back. I don't want to be that guy that goes, it's football, things happen. Not necessarily. There's things you can do to try. In the NFL, it's like, unless the NFL's out there holding everybody's hand and leading them into the tackle that they want, stuff's going to happen. And to Kevin O'Donnell's point, very luckily, it's been 50 years since something like this has occurred. It's very rare.
It's not true. Reggie Brown, who Petrarca talked about, he was dead on the field, and they brought him back. Inky Johnson, same thing.
Yeah,
it's not super rare, and cardiac events for athletes in the last 2 years.
Yeah, and when you look at the hit, and we look at the hit, like Scott said it, you look at the hit, and like you've seen a lot worse hits before.
Oh yeah,
and nothing near this has ever happened. But I thought about
which bears the question: is this what a lot of people are calling it? We don't know.
Yeah,
they know.
Who knows?
But
the
doctors,
my point with that
the
is
doctors know right now what happened.
My point was you can't always diagnose everything just off how hard the hit looks,
God,
because I mean the most famous example or infamous.
But that's what people are trying to do here. They're trying to say it's the commotion cortis, and everybody's ruling out everything else just because it was a hit to the heart, and that's you can't rule out everything.
Well,
else.
I'm just saying the most famous or infamous example is the Dale Earnhardt. We looked at that when that happened. Did anybody go, man, that's the hardest hit I've ever seen?
Oh my God, no, I was there. I was there, and we're all looking at the tape going.
As time has gone on, you recognize, that was a really hard hit.
Right.
But in that moment, it was a lot different. And that hit was not really that big of a deal in the moment. You're just like, it's just a regular wreck.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Right.
You never know when it comes to this stuff is my point.
Yeah. You need to get the facts from the medical professionals who know exactly what happened in this particular case right now. And we're not getting any information on it, which is interesting. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side. Dave Archer will join us from the Atlanta Falcons radio network. Quick break, and we'll see what the Falcons are up to this week. What is their motivation? Let's get inside their head a little bit and see what they're thinking. Stay with us.
Time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area, the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center and the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. If your car has been totaled in an accident and you don't think you got the money you deserve, you probably didn't, because that's what insurance companies do, and you probably have a case. And the Jeeves Law Group specializes in this particular case. They could get you thousands, hundreds of dollars back. Who knows? Just find out if you got a case. It's a free call. Get a free consultation. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com and find out. It'd be like hitting the lottery. All right, let's chat with our good friend, my former colleague, Dave Archer, who is the radio analyst for the Atlanta Falcons and a Renaissance man, tremendous golfer, and overall great dude. What's up, Dave? How are you, partner?
JP, how you doing? I've been gathering wood up here to build my own ark. I didn't think it would stop raining. It's been raining for 3 straight days up here, so I thought I was going to have to build something to get myself out of here.
There you go. And that's not snowing? I mean, it's freaking been cold everywhere.
No snow.
That's too bad.
No snow. Yeah,
just ridiculous rain. Well, listen.
Yeah, no, I can feel it.
Yeah. Well, I played golf yesterday. It was about 75 and mostly sunny anyway. So rub that.
I didn't need to hear that.
I know you did. Well, come on down. We'd love to play with you. Come play with us at Palmacia. Great golf course.
Okay.
All right. Listen, what is the mindset of the Falcons this week after the season you guys have gone through? Is Desmond Ridder playing? What is the mindset of this Falcons team right now?
Oh, this is one of those good situations, JP, when you got a young team, because they're trying to build whatever momentum, whether it's perceived momentum or actual momentum, into the off season. It's a really young team. It's one of the youngest teams in the league, and they've got a rookie quarterback, they've got a rookie running back, they got a rookie wide receiver that are all playing at a pretty good level. They've got 3 or 4 guys on the defensive side are rookies. So this class of 22 is really kind of trying to put their stamp on what they're going to be. You got some veteran players they've mixed in that are younger veterans. Rashaan Evans, who 5th in the league in tackles, who leads his team in tackles, he's just 26 years old. So it's a young football team. A.J. Terrell, their number 1 corner, just in his 3rd year. He's 24, 25 years old. So it's a group that I think feels like there's a lot to play for here down the stretch. And Arthur Smith and his staff have done a really good job of convincing them of that. And whether they need convincing or not, they're buying into what's going on. And I think there's a mindset and a thought process of what they're going to be next season.
Interesting. And what about Ridder? What's the situation with him? I've just been following you guys on Twitter, all my great Atlanta people, and I know my good friend and yours, Mike Bell, has been screaming for Ridder all year long. Finally got to see some of them. What's your evaluation? What does this week bring?
Yeah, Mike Bell's the kind of guy that looks at the draft setup after you lose your first 3 games. He's already looking at the next year's draft. So we're not going to put a lot of credence in what he has to say. But anyway, there's a lot of optimism about what Dennis has brought to the table. There's some shortcomings on this offense with playmakers. Drake London certainly seems to be that. We lost Kyle Pitts here about 6-7 weeks ago. That was a big loss to the team. But Ridder has really handled his business extremely well, JP. It kind of gives you an idea. 50 games in college. It certainly seems like he's very comfortable He's not wowed by any situation. I mean, his first start's in New Orleans in the Superdome. I mean, that's a tough place to go play. Then you go play, and it's 5 degrees against that Baltimore defense in Baltimore. Those are his first 2 games.
Wow.
Last weekend he came back. He keeps making more and more plays, and I think he's got the goods. I don't think there's any question about it. I do think that the play time, some of these guys that are willing to stick it out and play in college, Brock Purdy, a very typical example of what he's doing in San Francisco. Obviously, yes. Kyle Shanahan has a lot to do with that, but he played a lot of football. He played like 45 games at Iowa State College.
Yeah.
And so I think that experience that they got makes them far more prepared to play coming in than some of these guys that may leave after their redshirt sophomore year or whatever.
Yeah. We'll see that with Anthony Richardson this next year, whoever drafts him. We'll definitely be talking about that in the offseason. So let me just throw the scenario out to you, because I got to get your opinion on this. And I know, maybe you don't want to comment on other coaches' decisions, but here in Tampa, we've got a right tackle in Tristan Wirfs who got a high ankle sprain like 4 weeks ago, 5 or 6 weeks ago, and played within 3 weeks, which the dude is just, I don't know, he's otherworldly. But he's been limping on it, and he re-injured it, and he's limited in practice. The same way with Donovan Smith. He was out of practice, has a foot injury. Your 2 starting tackles. And Bowles has said, depending on the health of these guys, that he wants to play as starters and wants Brady to play. And my feeling is on this. I get those 2 guys off their feet because this game doesn't mean anything. It's all about the playoffs for them. And they don't even practice this week. I don't not even want to see them. And you can't put Brady back there with 2 backup tackles. And I know Brady wants to play, but this seems like lunacy to me that the Bucs are thinking about putting 2 injured tackles out on that sticky turf in Atlanta and putting Tom Brady back there. I don't get it. What do you think?
Well, I think that you and I are looking at it. We're looking at it as obviously you want to be as healthy as you could be next weekend when you play your first round playoff game. It looks like Tampa, certainly last weekend in their passing game, that looked more like what we're supposed to see in Tampa in their passing game. So is there a rhythm thing that you worry about losing by sitting guys down?
Yeah, it's a real thing. I get it.
Now you got to balance that. Well, you got to balance that with, okay, what's more important? Trusting that Brady will get back into rhythm, which I would trust that.
Yep.
I'm going to sit him down, and I'm going to sit the guys down that are banged up, and I'm going to be as healthy as I can possibly be for essentially what is week 19 or whatever the season, that first round of playoffs. You saw it here. I mean, we played guys in Atlanta when we had the division wrapped up back in 12 or whatever it was, and we played John Abraham in a meaningless game in week 15 or week 16.
That's right.
And he twisted his ankle.
Yep.
And Abraham was not the same guy in the playoffs. He didn't have, and he was an elite level pass rusher that Atlanta needed. So, yeah, I think that I would choose health over any kind of rhythm thing that you're trying to keep going from the previous week.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And here's another thing that's we just talked about with one of my other reporters. Kyle Trask is sitting there. Obviously, you know him from the Gators and the SEC. You've covered him, done his games. He's sitting there. We haven't seen one sniff of him. He's dressed out for one game. Now, he's played in the preseason, et cetera, but he's just been, for 2 years, he hadn't done anything. Brady may not be here next year. And you have an opportunity to see this cat play in an NFL game, a real NFL game at real NFL speed. To me, that you got to have that. If you have an opportunity to get that kind of gold information and go into the offseason knowing just a little bit more about what you got in case Brady doesn't come back, I think that's an incredibly valuable thing. Am I overstating this? What do you think?
No, I think it's valid. Now, you don't want to – obviously, we got Desmond in with 4 games to go, and so you certainly don't want to base what you think you have Trask in one game.
Exactly.
But you certainly would like to get him on the field, let him get a mix of it. The other part about it is, JP, is it's kind of an interesting ecosystem within a game, within a team. If you sit a guy down, who are you choosing to sit down? I think everybody would agree Tom Brady, that's a different dude. You don't compare him to anybody else.
Exactly.
But if you're Devin White or you're Levante David or some of these guys that are veteran players on the team and they're not being sat down, you only have so many guys to play. You only got 48 guys that are ready to play. You can't sit everybody. It's not like a college game or anything like that. So is there part of that you have to worry about from a psyche standpoint about guys getting a little upset about the fact they're not the person that's getting to sit to watch in that last week and getting a rest. I don't know if that's an issue, but that's certainly something Todd Bowles has got to take into consideration.
Yeah, it's probably more of a player-by-player issue. Some guys just want to play, and some guys would be happy to not. So, and that's probably what you do. You treat everybody individually and find out what's best for them. But then you still have to make, if Brady was saying, I want to play, and I go, look, I'm not starting the 2 tackles. I can't play it. And if he gets pissed, what do? I mean, sometimes as a head coach, you got to make decisions, even with Tom Brady, that he may not like, but we'll see where it goes with that. Or we see Cordero Patterson this weekend, because I know we missed him the first time, thank God, or I think the Falcons definitely would have won that game. Is he playing?
Yeah, you'll see CP in the game, and it's been fun to watch these two guys. Tyler Algier, the rookie out of BYU, has been phenomenal. He's got 900 yards rushing now. He now is the leading rusher on the team. Cordero's at about 700 yards, so they got two guys right around over 700 yards rushing. They're number 3 in the league running the football. You guys saw it in week 5. They put 150 on that Tampa defense in the run game, and actually ran themselves back into the game. That was a 21-3 Tampa lead in the first part of the third quarter, and Atlanta stuck with the run game and ran themselves right back into the game. And had it not been that egregious roughing the passer penalty on Tom Brady against Grady Jarrett, they might have had a chance to win the football game. They didn't, but CP will be fully healthy and ready to roll. It's a fun 2 guys to watch play. I know they're on the opposite side. You're going to love watching these 2 guys go. And Tyler Algier has got the goods now. This is a real dude, a guy that had 1,600 yards rushing at BYU a year ago. 70% of his runs came after contact. It's unbelievable what this guy can do. And then he's getting nimble, and he makes people miss. He's a fun guy to watch play. I think you'll enjoy watching him play. And CP runs really hard too. So, yeah, Devin White and Levante David, I know they're ready. The 2 guys have over 120 tackles apiece, but they better have the chin strap buckled, because these guys are coming downhill.
And I agree with you, by the way. I said it on my show on that Monday. I said if they don't get that call and Atlanta gets the ball back, all they got to do is turn around and hand it off. They're going down the field, because they just did it twice. So I think Atlanta would have won the football game. I 100% agree. So it sounds to me like the Bucs are walking into a little bit of a hornet's nest here. This is not a team that's ready to lay down and finish the season. They're pissed about the last game, and they want to make a statement heading into 23. That's what I hear you saying, right?
Absolutely. 13 of their games, JP, have been 1-score games. They're 5-3 in their building. This is the first time they've been over 500. They've got something going on in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which has been a tough place for whatever reason for them to win. Yeah, they want to close this out on the right foot. There's a young quarterback that's chomping at the bit to get his opportunity to play against Tampa. So, yeah, this is a group that's coming in wanting to win the football game and really generate some momentum coming to the offseason.
Ooh, very interesting. Hey, real quick, I know you know the Georgia football team really well. I know you've done some TCU games too in the past. What do you think about this championship matchup?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think that, certainly Georgia on paper is the team. I will be interested. JP, the game within the game for me is I did the SEC title game against LSU, Georgia against LSU, and Georgia couldn't get home with a 4-man pass rush. Jaden Daniels had a really good game until he got hurt, and then Nussmeier came in, their backup quarterback. He threw for 300 yards against Georgia. And so C.J. Stroud carried it over. He threw for 350 and 4 touchdowns. If they can't get to Max Duggan in this game, this is going to be a very similar game. And if they get in a shootout with TCU, look out. TCU can go score with anybody.
Yeah.
This has a chance to be a pretty good championship game. Now TCU can't fall behind, which they've done a time or two. In during the season, they came from behind 6 times to win. But probably the big question mark is Kendre Miller. Their 1,400-yard rusher tweaked his knee a little bit in that Michigan game. If he's able to go, and they got Mercado who came in and filled in for him, then I think all hands on deck. This has a chance to be a pretty good game.
Oh, okay. Take TCU in the 13.5. That's what he's saying. Dave, awesome stuff, man. Really appreciate your perspective on that. I'll blame you if I lose money. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. We'll catch up soon. Thank you.
Always good to catch up with you, my friend. You take care.
Thank you. All right. So does that change your opinion? These guys, that was a really interesting interview. I didn't realize how dialed in they were. So now you got a bunch of young bucks over on the other side looking at Tom Brady like a piece of freaking lamb chop, with two backup tackles or two guys that are hurt.
I was gonna say,
you guys are out of your mind.
The other thing,
I don't even let Brady get on the plane now.
The other thing I'm thinking about. Hold up. Wasn't there, if I recall, last time there was a bit of controversy with Brady Jarrett, right?
Well, he got the stupid, ridiculous.
He was called for the ridiculous roughing the passer and wasn't happy about it.
Yeah, of course not.
And Brady kind of sidestepped it later.
What do you mean he sidestepped it?
Well, like he downplayed it. Like, no, it wasn't. It was roughing the passer.
No, I remember on his podcast, he was like,
well, the ref called it. He's like, well, he called it. So.
I think he kind of tacitly admitted it was a bullshit call. He was like, yeah, sometimes you get called, sometimes you don't. It goes both ways.
I'm probably reaching here, but I'm just like, yeah.
No, but I think
Brady Jarrett wants to get. I mean, everybody wants to sack.
I think
Tom
the bigger
Brady.
point is they're ready. This is not a team that's going to lie down. Here comes and
they have it all year long.
And Tom Brady's out there. And here's my other point. You want to play all your starters and act like you want to win the game and then get your ass kicked by a team that's got nothing to lose, dudes that want to make their mark out there and hurt guys.
Listen,
no,
3 series.
She's got
3 series.
No, just I would just say, you know what? Thanks, Falcons. Really doesn't. We know you guys want to, and I'd play Trask. I got to get to some of these comments too. Do we need another break?
No, we don't.
Okay. You freaking guys. Well, you should say what we said in the break. He's like, he wants me to go all Steve Doom.
Yeah, you got to go big dog on everybody. Talk about all-time radio moments in this market. When you tried to check,
you goobers.
When you tried to check Big Dog on his show,
you know more than me. There, 3 hours. You come in here and do 3 hours. Go ahead. That's what I thought. Shut up. Dude was a classic. He was a classic. All right, let me get to some of your inane comments here. I can't even, there's so many from James, I don't know where to start. He does basically he's saying I don't give an F about Trask. Okay. All right. Now, why would you want to know about your second round pick? And you got to replace your quarterback in the near coming future, most likely. Why would you want to know about the guy who you drafted in the second round? Why would you want to put him in the situation to get real data and really see how he reacts in a real football game when you can just go into the offseason and not have that data and have no clue whatsoever? That's a great way to run your program in a meaningless game. Yeah, let's put Tom Brady out there against a bunch of kids, young bucks that want to make their mark with 2 backup tackles. And let's get our starting tackles in there. Let's get them on their feet and play on that sticky turf so Wirfs doesn't show up for – I mean, you guys are out of your mind. You guys are out of your freaking mind.
Hold up.
We got to keep our momentum going. You heard what Dave said. I mean, yeah, in every other situation, you got 2 healthy tackles. You want to keep, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you guys. That's not the situation. It's a much different situation. So let's not, James, as you always do, change my words and say, oh, you got to keep the momentum going. It's a different situation. You want to put Brady out there with 2 injured tackles? Offensive tackles, and then put those tackles on their feet on that turf? Why? What is the point of that? You don't need it. And by the way, you want to talk about Tom Brady who's never gotten hurt. Well, guess what? Why take that chance? There's no way he's going to get hurt if he doesn't play, number one. And I like Dave Archer, I trust Tom Brady to take a week off and still be able to pick up where he left off against in the last game. I mean, come on.
To be fair, I'm not saying that it's worthless to not see Kyle Trask, but I would feel there's a better chance, and I would more likely see it happening that Blaine Gabbert would be the quarterback over Kyle Trask next year. I don't think highly of Kyle Trask. That's just me. And I know we have to see him and whatever, but if he couldn't beat Kyle Trask out in a competition, there's nothing to me that he's going to do in a game that's proven me anything for next year.
Okay, well, here's why I think you're wrong. Kyle Trask has, at every point of his career, proven that he is going to be ready, number one, and he's a gamer. We've heard stories at Florida about how he played crappy in practice. Mm-hmm. But when the game came, the dude set records. Okay? His numbers were off the freaking charts in the SEC. And yes, he had Kadarius Toney and he had Kyle Pitts. But guess what? He had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And he's got some weapons here. So I want to see it. You're not going to just throw him in the garbage can.
I'm advocating to see him.
So, but you've given up on him because of what you've seen when him like third stringers on third stringers.
I'm saying it doesn't bode well when you are the third string quarterback after 2 years. This isn't.
I agree.
This isn't Jordan Love being the second string behind Aaron Rodgers.
Let's be honest about that. Part of the reason is Bruce Arians loves Blaine Gabbert.
And Blaine Gabbert's a really good backup.
He is a good backup, and I like Blaine Gabbert too. And Blaine Gabbert should have been the backup.
Blaine Gabbert saved some lives potentially this past week. He
did.
deserves playing time.
Yeah, that's the reason he deserves playing time.
Oh no, because he's a really good backup. He's been waiting his turn. He's ahead of
you people. He's ahead. That had nothing to do with it. But listen, Blaine Gabbert. I'm a big Blaine Gabbert fan. You know that. I want to see him play. I'd like to see him play. But I know, and you know what? I would like to see him play with the starters too. So I would play Blaine Gabbert for a few series, and then I'd put Kyle Trask in.
I'll give you the breakdown. Three series for Tom Brady. 3. Okay. So that takes you to about a quarter and a half?
Yeah.
Likely?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I turn it over to Blaine Gabbert for the next quarter and a half, and then I give him the last quarter.
Yeah, I'd split it up.
He gets the last quarter.
Yeah. 1-1-1-1.
He get last quarter. I'm just telling you, I don't think there's anything that Kyle Trask is going to do in this game, barring him going for like 15 for 15 for like 200. That's going to tell me, oh, they might have something if Brady leaves next year. Nothing.
Why not?
Nothing.
If he does it in an NFL game, you just completely dismiss it.
Yes, I'm going to dismiss it a little bit.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay. You'd rather draft a guy who's played like 8 games in college, and that's a much better way to go.
I would rather
I'm sorry.
If that was the alternative.
Give me the information. I just want the information. I want to see it in an NFL game. If I have an opportunity to do it, I want to see it. You got to make a decision on quarterback. You and listen, right now, from what I've seen from Kyle Trask, I'm not overly impressed. I've seen some nice moments from him in training camp. I've seen some good stuff, seen some bad stuff. But all that stuff is meaningless because the only thing that matters is how do you play in a real effing game. And it's rare that you get an opportunity like this to see a cat. Like let's see if, for instance, you wanted to draft Anthony Richardson, okay? And you got an opportunity to see him play, see him play in an NFL game before you drafted him. Would you like that opportunity?
I like to get the opportunity to see him play in an
NFL game under real fire, Week 18 at Atlanta before you draft him. Do you think that would be valuable information?
Sure. A little bit. It's not to my end-all, be-all.
Your Honor, I rest.
When I say sure, it's a reluctant sure.
I know you.
And I'm putting like this tiny little percentage on it. I'm putting this tiny little percentage on it.
1,000% right.
I don't think you are.
Just go ahead, Your Honor. You can rule now. All right, let me get some of these. T. Coral, whatever. So start Trask and lose, then you have a losing record limping into the playoffs. Not good for morale, not to mention the contract extension some of these players are looking to achieve in the last game. I love you, brother, but it's not freaking fantasy football. Nobody cares what your record is. And do you get an extra 1.5 before you start the game? Oh, excuse me. The Cowboys, they finished over here with a winning record. So we're going to award the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 3 points before we start this game.
I'm just going to put it out there to everybody.
Are you out of your freaking mind? Who cares what your record is? You know what your record is in the first playoff game? 0-0. That's your record. Now go play.
Team with a losing record has never won the Super Bowl. Just going to put it out there.
And the Giants were 9-7.
Okay,
and the Patriots were 16-0.
They weren't 8-9.
They were 9-7. So yeah. And by the way, if you think the Bucs are winning the Super Bowl, you're out of your, with a 9-8 record, you're out of your mind. Yeah, most of
trying to increase their chances here.
Let's be honest. Like,
this is a numbers game.
Whether Brady starts now or doesn't, like, are they still going to beat the Cowboys?
No, I already know what's going to happen. How many days are we away from? How many days are we away from the? What are we at? 9 days? Till we get to the playoffs? 9-10 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to be all in.
I'm
gonna be all in.
Yeah,
regardless of what my eyes have seen, I'm gonna be all in. Like, remember when the Rays, we saw what we saw for the last like 2-3 weeks of the season, and then the playoffs came and we went all in, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And they scored 1 run and let us down.
Yeah.
So which scenario is gonna happen here?
But first of all, let's don't say we went all in.
That's true, because we showed up. I forced you to put a Rays jersey on.
Yeah.
And then number 2, even then you had fake excitement.
Yeah. Who was right? Again. 1 run in 24 innings. Let's go. Here come the Rays. Whoa. We're going to break through that paper barrier.
Well.
Woo. All right. What a great show we had today. That was fun today, wasn't it? I had a good time today. Thank you guys for all chiming in. I wish I could have got more of your stuff in here, but we'll try to do more of that next time. And thanks to all of you watching on WATB, our new home on Facebook, one of our many homes. So there's another avenue for you to watch the show. We really appreciate you guys jumping in and jumping on. I'm going to go on there today to answer a lot of your comments and get a little chat with y'all. That'll be fun. So we'll do that each and every day. We will be back tomorrow with a good guest lineup we're doing. We'll talk some more Falcons tomorrow and Bucs. And the good news on Damar is fantastic. He's breathing now. He's squeezing the hands of his loved ones, and it's great news. So thank God with that. That's the best news of the day. Have a great day, everybody, and we will chat with you tomorrow.